Darren Mougey strikes again as the New York Jets are able to pull off another trade that looks very, very similar to a trade that was pulled off just a couple hours ago, and we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video for today, only 39.8% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. So if you are not subscribed, please take a second and hit that subscribe button. But hopping into the news that we have for today from NFL insider Adam Schefter. ESPN sources Vikings are trading defensive tackle Harrison Phillips and a 2027 7th-round pick to the New York Jets in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick and a 2027 6th-round pick pending Phillips' physical. Phillips now joins Jawan Briggs as the second defensive tackle that the Jets have traded for on Wednesday. So the New York Jets, clearly, we thought they were only a little bit unhappy with what was going on with the defensive tackle rotation. Clearly they were not happy at all because they went out today on Wednesday and picked up 2 defensive tackles instead of just 1 via trade, sending out a total of 3 6th-round picks, got back 2 players, 1 6th-round pick for 2027, 1 6th-round pick for 2026. And if we look at the future picks, as I'm sure people are wondering, these are the New York Jets' current 6th-round pick that they have. They currently, or going into today, the New York Jets had 4 6th-round picks. 2 of these have gone out in the trades today. So we still will have 2 6th-round picks come the 2026 drafts if there are no more moves which are made. But based on today, I'm sure the New York Jets are not going to sit on their hands. I'm sure they will be looking around the league and figuring out what other moves can be made other than picking up just Harrison Phillips. If we want to look at what Harrison Phillips' stats were in his most recent season for the Minnesota Vikings, he played in all 17 games, picking up 2 sacks, forcing a fumble, and recovering a fumble, getting 56 combined tackles, 16 solo tackles, 5 quarterback hits, almost 30 years old, so that's a little bit different. The guy we picked up earlier in Briggs was a very young player, only his 2nd year in the National Football League. Harrison Phillips is a longtime NFL veteran. You may remember him terrorizing Zach Wilson when he was on the Buffalo Bills. So this is a guy who's been around the block a few times, been in the AFC East. He knows what's going on. Now the New York Jets are going to pick him up, add him to the defensive tackle rotation. This is going to be another run-stuffing specialist. It really, I really thought that we may have had something in Nadi or Byron Coward or Jay Tufele, but according to the moves today made by the New York Jets, they were not happy at all with what was going on with that defensive tackle rotation. We know Coward was hurt, but so now we are hearing that he must be really badly hurt if the New York Jets need to go out and pick up 2 defensive tackles. I'm not super worried about a 6th-round pick versus a 7th-round pick. It's not a huge difference. The hit rate, I haven't done the math on what the hit rate is, but I imagine it's pretty similar if you actually end up making a 6th or a 7th-round pick. But the spot where the Jets are hurt in this situation is the fact that it's harder to trade a 7th-round pick than it is a 6th-round pick, which is pretty obvious. I don't have a picture for this, but also there was some follow-up news coming out with this where the Vikings are eating a certain portion of Harrison Phillips' contract, and that is part of the deal. So I don't know how much money this guy's getting paid exactly, but the Minnesota Vikings are going to be picking up some of that. So we're not going to be hit too hard when it comes to that position. But what I love about how the way the defensive tackle rotation is starting to fill out is going to be Quinnen Williams, who we know has a lot of pass rushing upside, which is really rare to find in a defensive tackle. And it's why when you see a guy like Quinnen Williams or Jalen Carter at the top of the drafts, people are clamoring to draft them because it's hard to find interior defensive linemen who can rush the passer. But Quinnen Williams is a better pass rusher instead of run stuffer. But let's just fill it out with more run stuffers now. This is exactly what we did 2 years ago when we picked up guys like Al Woods and the other low money free agent signings, where when it comes to defensive linemen, pass rushers and guys that get a lot of sacks are extremely, extremely expensive, but the run stuffers aren't really expensive. So what the Jets have done is they went out and got, obviously we have Will McDonald, who is a really good pass rusher. He's going to get a lot of sacks, but he's not as good as a run support guy. So this is exactly what I've been asking for months, which is just bring in run support specialists because they're really, really cheap. And then let our pass rush specialist guys go on the outside. Don't really worry about the run game and just worry about getting sacks. Will McDonald, all we really need him to do is hold his edge. Don't let runs get outside of him and get to the edge of the field where they can go all the way for a touchdown. Other than that, just thinking about going to get the quarterback. That's all we want Will McDonald thinking about. Jermaine Johnson is a more well-rounded defensive end, but I would like to have him just be able to pin his ears back and not really worry about the run game as much as just how fast can you get in that backfield. Just run up sack numbers. That's what we want from our pass rushers. We're going to have more guys on the inside stopping the run. Last season, the run defense was absolutely gross. Like it was so bad last year. I don't have to tell anyone watching this video about how bad the New York Jets run defense was last season. We know that Aaron Glenn is not going to stand for things like that. If guys aren't getting tackled, he's going to take out the guys that are higher on the depth chart and say, I'm going to bring in my backups and you guys better tackle now. And the starters are going to learn, if we're not making tackles, we're not going to play. So they're going to start playing more physical. They're going to start making tackles. Another reason why they're going to play more physical is because Aaron and Glenn is bringing more of a camaraderie to this football team. Everyone is going to play for each other instead of just for themselves. Last season, it felt like everyone was just like an independent contractor instead of members of a team. Everyone has to, you have to play your role, do your job on the defense, and have faith in your teammates that they're going to do their jobs as well. Last season, that was not the case. People really, just the only way to say it, the best way to say it is the guys did not play together. But now, hopefully the New York Jets are putting together a defensive line that will be something that people cannot run against. We know that every single game the Jets are going to want to go out and be that run, just a running force that can run through any defense, and it should be able to work for the most part, but teams are going to try to hit us back with that, and hopefully we are going to be having absolutely none of it now that we can add in more guys. Of course, when we watch these preseason games, Leonard Taylor, Fedarian Mathis, the guys deeper on the defensive tackle depth chart haven't really been breaking out in a way that I hope that they would. Leonard Taylor, I thought I really thought him coming out of LSU, I thought he could have a high untapped ceiling, but so far he hasn't really been able to reach that. I absolutely understand both these moves by the New York Jets front office, bringing in more guys to stop the run. Can never have too many defensive linemen to rotate out. Last season, the strategy was come in waves. We didn't have enough guys this season to be able to keep that up. It's always a good idea to have fresh defensive linemen because these guys, they are great athletes, but when you are as heavy as they are, it's just impossible to play snap after snap after snap. These guys are going to get out of breath. We have to have fresh legs, fresh lungs, ready to sub in for them and ready to make sure that everyone is able to play at the highest level that they possibly can. Harrison Phillips, we can expect him to be higher up on the depth chart than Juwan Briggs because we traded more for Harrison Phillips, the 2-6 instead of the 1 6th-round pick for the 7th swap, even though and some of the stuff is farther down the road. There's some 2027 picks involved with Harrison Phillips. I do think this is someone that we know for a fact will be getting a ton of playing time. Do I expect him to be the second defensive tackle over Jay Tufele? To start the year, he probably will be. He's going to be in there just to pretty much exclusively to stop the run. Older guy, savvy veteran. He knows what he's doing. Hopefully his veteranship, his experience, that's a better word for it, can rub off on our younger guys, and he could bring the younger guys along, and hopefully we can piece together what can be a much, much stronger defensive tackle room than what we are currently cooking up. Very excited to see how it works. I love these little process deals. Not every move has to be super, super splashy. If every single move takes the New York Jets in the right direction, then I am a fan of it. Let's build this team up the right way. Start with the trenches, then we'll build out. Cannot wait to see what Darren Mougey has planned next because something else is coming. He is not done. Aaron Glenn is not done. This team is not finished making moves. There's already been another trade in the NFL since this trade happened as well. Makes 3 trades today. Stuff's getting exciting. Season's ramping up. And if you want to be appraised of all New York Jets news, signings, trades, anything New York Jets, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this long in the video. And go Jets.